The journey from Winterhold to Dawnstar is a treacherous one, only for hardy folk and adventurers like ourselves. Many make their way to see the great statue of Azora, as the goddess of dawn and dusk blesses them and watches over their travels. While we did not come this way for the Twilight Queen, we feel it wise to stop by and pray for safe passage for the mighty Daedric Prince to watch over us on the long journey west. The path will be full of danger, bloodthirsty beasts, and a cold that chills to the bone, as we are warmed only by our fur cloak and the last few drops of mead that sit alone in our empty stomach. Soon, we come across a crude-looking structure, a shelter, Falmer, no doubt. We draw our sword and shield and prepare for what foulness lie inside. Nothing. It seems the shelter was abandoned, at least for now. We dare not take refuge, not even for a moment, in the reeking structure. Instead, we press on into the night, with the stars barely illuminating our path, until we see a light flick on in the distance. A lighthouse, with a fire recently lit, shining like a beacon, drawing us into safety. Could this be the great Lady Azora answering our prayer? As we get closer, we can already feel the heat and anxiously make our way to the front door. But something here is not right. There is death in the air. Something catches our attention out of the corner of our eye, and we investigate. No, there is nothing good for us here. Something is terribly wrong. Were we not drawn here to be rescued from the elements, but to rescue someone else from something much worse? We approach the door again, knocking, but hearing no answer. Finding the entrance to the lighthouse unlocked, we warily head inside. Immediately we are met with a foul stench, a stale chill in the air, and a trail of blood leading to a horrific sight. A murdered, middle-aged Redguard woman with an axe sticking from her stomach, a Falmer axe. On her sparsely dressed corpse, we do find a journal. After years of sailing from Hammerfell to Solstheim and back, Ramadi and I have finally saved enough money to buy that old lighthouse we spotted on the coast, and are moving in next month. These Nords really know how to live. It may be cold, but you can't beat the tranquility of watching the icebergs to live out your silver years. Ramadi loves the place too, despite the occasional leaky ceiling. Mani and Sudi, unfortunately, seem miserable here. I know the kids are old enough to strike out on their own, but I hope they'll grow to love the peace and quiet here, as I have. Mani and Sudi continue to bicker and harass each other, and they seem to have started in on their mother as well. Ramadi keeps finding things missing from the cellar. Sudi said she heard a noise down there, but Mani just thinks their mother is going mad from isolation. The very thought of it is ridiculous. She's always wanted to retire here. Sudi keeps saying that she hears scratching coming from the cellar at night. I think she's just trying to get her mother's goat, but I'd better head into town to get a few traps just in case it's skeevers. Should only take a couple of days. I just hope those two go easy on Ramadi while I'm gone. Oh gods, why? I returned home to find my beautiful Ramadi killed, and this horrible bug-like creature ransacking our home. I managed to kill the damned thing. I think it might be a Daedra. I've never seen anything like it. Oh gods, poor Ramadi. It must have come out of the cellar. I'm going down there and locking the door behind me to make sure they don't escape. I don't know if I'll make it out, but I have to save my family. Judging by the name signed on the journal, it seems it belongs to a man named Hapt, and the dead woman before us was his wife, Ramadi. Admittedly, we Nords aren't great with these foreign names, but we can't exactly ask the Redguard for a pronunciation now, can we? The cellar sounds like our destination, but first, we investigate the first floor. By the still burning fire, we spot the ungodly creature slain by Hapt, although it is no Daedra, but a Chaurus. However, we wonder, as Ramadi was killed by an axe, not a Chaurus. Where is its Falmer master? Even with the poor company, we can't resist warming ourselves by the hearth, as we spot a peculiar trophy on the mantle, a torch bug in a jar. Perhaps they were fond of its ethereal green glow in the unforgiving wilderness of Winterhold. We search further. Next, we head into what looks to be the children's room. Amongst the purple mountain flowers and various knickknacks, we spot another journal on the table. This is the property of Sudi. We're not in the habit of reading young girls' diaries, but desperate times. It reads, "I hate it here. Why did we have to move to Skyrim anyway? I miss the big port cities. There was always something to do and new people around. Or even being a cabin girl on one of the ships we used to sail on would be better than this. Monty says we should run away, but I can't leave Mother and Father alone out here. Oh, what to do. We've been here for 2 months now, and there is nothing to do. From the top of the lighthouse, we can see all the way to the college at Winterhold. But Father says that magic is for Daedra worshippers. The only interesting thing to have happened lately is that Mother snapped at us at dinner and accused us of stealing things out of the cellar. I did hear scratching down there the other night, but I thought it was just Father cleaning fish. I caught Monty in the cellar a couple days ago going through some of the barrels and crates. At first I thought it was him all along making those scratches to play a trick on me, but I heard them again last night, and Monty was in bed. Father finally said he would go get some traps and poison from town in case it's skeevers. I'm really scared. It doesn't sound like skeevers to me. Monty won't listen. He thinks I'm just making up the noises and keeps sneaking into the cellar. Oh, why is he so stupid sometimes? I don't know why he keeps going down there, but I found the cellar key he copied and hid it in Mother's favorite keepsake so he won't find it. The scratching is getting louder. Clearly, the poor lass was not adjusting well to her new life in the frigid north. Can't blame her. This is no place for a young woman, born in the warm sands of Hammerfell. Of this key, we'll have to make note. Walking over what we hope is not their blood, we search the other half of the room, undoubtedly belonging to the son, Mani. There is no journal to be found here, but a small piece of parchment sticking out of the knapsack underneath the bed. Sudi, I know you've been making up that stuff about the noises in the basement to try to get me to stay, but I'm only waiting till Father gets home so you and Mother are safe. You could always come meet up with me before I head back to Hammerfell. Take care of yourself, little sister, Mani. It seems Mani had desires to abandon the lighthouse. We could only hope at this time that he did, and took Sudi with him. However, it sounds like that is not the case. And with that, we leave the children's room in peace, and venture into the adjacent room, no doubt belonging to the parents. On the nightstand we find one last journal, this one, Ramadi's. We finally did it. We bought the lighthouse. I thought Hapt was just making idle promises all these years. What husband doesn't want to promise their wife the 2 moons from the sky? But I didn't think we'd actually manage to get it. Now, if I could only find where we put everything. I can't find my favorite cooking pot, and it is slightly infuriating. Sudi and Mani seem unhappy, but they're still young and don't seem to understand that we just want to spend a few more years with them before they leave us to see the world. I know they think their father will live forever, but I see his age creeping into his eyes. He made me promise again that when he died I would put his bones in the lighthouse fire so he could look out over the ocean forever. Oh, those two get to me sometimes. I went to unpack some of our keepsakes from the trading ships we used to sail, but I can't find them. Sudi keeps saying she's hearing something in the basement at night, and Mani suggested it was skeevers. They know I hate skeevers. Now I'm too scared to go down there at all. I'm glad I unpacked my favorite urn and put it safely on the mantle before those two started causing mischief. If they put a skeever in the basement, I swear, it is no skeever that dwells below us. As we hear the distant chattering of chitin, we stop by the fireplace to check Ramadi's urn and find the cellar's key within. We also take the torch bug in a jar with us, for good luck. Taking one last look over the horrific crime scene, we know what we must do. But seeing the cellar door, the bloody trail, and the icy draft pouring through, we think to leave. But we are a Nord, and our resolve takes over, and we forego the key, and in our adrenaline we pick the master lock on our first try. Perhaps a hopeful sign from Azura, or maybe our new lightning bug companion. We slowly descend these seemingly never-ending steps, careful to avoid the traps strewn about. Until we see it emerge around the corner. Its spew of acidic venom misses us as we draw our sword and shield and put down the fiend with a couple bashes and slashes. Its partner flees around the corner, but we await it to emerge and dispatch it in the same manner. We then search the cavernous basement, filled with ice and storage, but no Hapt. We spot a hole in the wall and learn this hell goes much deeper than the cellar. We again contemplate turning back, but what if Hapt is alive down there? What about the missing children? Could they have been taken? We press forward into the unknown and brave ourselves for the chill of the abyss. As we go down the icy corridor, we cross paths with some of the missing items from the cellar, and spot in the distance a Falmer encampment. Although it appears empty, we draw our blade and peek around the bend. Another Chorus. It hasn't spotted us, and we await its movement. We lunge and strike it, but are hit by its acidic spit. Thankfully, our steel armor seems to shield us from the worst. As we end the life of this miserable creature, we move to the encampment, and lying lifeless by the fire, we spot a male Redguard. But he appears too young to be happed. This is Mani. He didn't escape after all. We begin to search, but are hit from behind with a surge of electricity. A Falmer. We move on its chitin shelter, our shield raised, protecting us from the elements of his staff, as we bash his miserable brains in. Paying our final respects to the poor lad, we have a dreadful thought. If Mani is down here, then so is Sudi. Past the crude gate, we are careful to keep our footing in another frost-bitten hallway. Until we are face to face with another Chorus and Falmer. We kill both with fury. We head around another bend and into another corridor, where we deactivate a tripwire on the ground. A giant claw swings down in a loud crash. Hopefully, no one heard that. We continue down the hall, strangely and beautifully illuminated by mushrooms. Ahead, a clearing, home to a pacing Falmer, and spiders? As if this couldn't get any worse. Knowing that we have the element of surprise, rage takes over us, and we charge the enemy, avoiding the bow and slashing from behind. We then move to the spiders, their webs powerless against our might and the frosted enchantment of our blade. As we leave the chamber, we hear a bow's string plucked, and immediately turn and put the foul milk drinker down for good. The journey continues until we reach an even larger chamber, where an elevated archer awaits us. An arrow whizzes past our ear as we move in. We are then face to face with another deadly pair. As we are hit by poison and lightning, we slash recklessly and furiously. The Falmer sword dents through our armor. The Chorus bites us and our blood is spilled. We kill the monsters. Although they did get us, our armor took the worst of it, and our wounds are not mortal. We climb up to engage with the cowardly archer, cautious as to his range. We begin catching his speeding arrows with our shield as we draw close and slash him to pieces. However, looking down, we spot something near the entrance we came in through. An enclosure we did not see before. We drop to investigate. Immediately, we are met with tragedy. A young Redguard woman, lifeless on the icy floor. Sudi. Left by her is a scrawled note that reads, "I don't know how long we've been down here. Father came down to find us, but those things captured him as well. I asked him if he'd seen Mother or Mani, but I don't know if he could even hear me. One of those big bugs bit him when he tried to get free, and now he's feverish." Poor lass's final moments must have been horrific. A Redguard girl not built for these elements, warmed only by a torch. And next to that note is a blood-stained one. They took Father. There had been some others they brought down, but they led them off, and all we heard were the screams. And now Father is gone too. Oh gods, why didn't I listen to Mani? Father's fever was getting worse, and he kept mumbling about Daedra. I don't know where he was hiding it, but I think I know why he left me this dagger. Dagger. It is then we spot the dagger in her hand. Rather than be taken by the Falmer, she took her own life. What is this place? Did they keep them in this pen like human swine? Are they being eaten? We shudder to think of what, if anything, we'll find left of Hapt. It's clear now this quest is no longer one of rescue, but of revenge. We go back atop and drop on the other side. and we continue deeper into the cave until we reach an area where we must drop into the shallow water below. A spew of venom hits us and begins to seep through our armor. We won't be able to take much more, lest we wish to meet the same fate as Hapt. Our adrenaline powers us through. We continue to traverse these shallow water passageways, keeping a keen eye out for Chaurus dwelling below the surface, and kill them with hate warming our heart. We then notice all of the eggs nesting around. This is the breeding ground. We must be near the end of our journey. As we bash and slash more Chaurus, something flies from its cocoon. Is this their next form? We break its wings and stomp it into oblivion. We then move into the final, foreboding chamber, and sitting atop a frozen mound like a throne is the Queen. Is this who they've been feeding? With sheer willpower, we charge forward, no regard for our well-being, as we hack away at the Mother Chaurus and her simps until every last one lies still, dead. We then slash open the brooding bitch and disgustingly find Hapt's remains, as well as his undigested lighthouse key. We take both as we make our escape, not wishing to leave them in the wretched guts of the Queen. As we go up the ramp to make an exit, we loot a Falmer chest. It must be where they keep their most valuable spoils. Remarkably, the cave loops around, and we drop down near the start of our journey. Now, all we must do is make our way to the surface. As we reach the lighthouse's entryway, we remember Hapt's key and unlock the door to the top of the lighthouse. The ascent up these stairs is much more peaceful, tranquil, and inviting. We climb the ladder to the peak, met with the greetings of the lit brazier. We go up the creaky wooden steps to honor Hapt's wishes and cast his remains into the fire. As we do so, the blessings of the Redguard family wash over us. Our wounds are healed and our mind set at ease. They also draw our eye to something else, a chest. We open it with the key and are rewarded with the family's riches and treasures. Looking up from the chest, we gaze out at the great statue of Azora in the distance, thanking the Lady of Dawn and Dusk for her guidance and protection, as we rest easy and contemplate our next adventure.